The Road Traffic Management Corporation says it will be using drones, vehicle and body cameras to enforce road safety and monitor traffic flow this Easter weekend. Thousands of people are preparing to travel to various destinations across the country and abroad for the Easter holidays. President Cyril Ramaphosa confirmed that inter-provincial travel will be allowed. However, he advised South Africans to limit their travel as far as possible. Some people using public transport are still not wearing masks or sanitizing despite warnings that the COVID-19 pandemic is far from over. Now, let's talk about this as we're joined by the spokesperson of AA, that's Layton Beard. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you, Colin. Good to be with you and your viewers.
Layton, the first time we hear that you'll be using drones this Easter weekend, how is this going to play out?
Well, I think the use of drones as well as the body cameras that the RTMC said officers will be using, I think is going to be very significant. It will all create a more effective way of policing the roads over this time. I think what we'd like to see, obviously, is that this level of policing is not only event-driven, but is something that happens all year round. And I think if we could do that, then we could deal more effectively with road carnage in our country. But I mean, certainly from our point of view, the fact that drones will be used, it's another bow in the arsenal of the RTMC and the traffic law enforcement community. And we obviously welcome that. I think anything that is going to make our roads safer is something that we would naturally welcome and appreciate.
So how does the use of drones and body cams apply in as far as legal implications are concerned? One would believe that the footage that will be gotten from any scene regarding any incident can or will it be admissible in a court of law?
Yeah, I think that we need to see obviously how it's going to be implemented and the extent to which it's used. I think from a motorist point of view, it gives you peace of mind knowing that the officers you're dealing with, their actions are being monitored all the time, and there's that level of accountability. And I do think in terms of law enforcement, it would be something that could be used in a court of law. So it's all about being a responsible driver and being accountable, not only as a driver, but as a law enforcement officer. And I think on all of those counts, these body cams and drones are going to assist in that.
Layton, just get into the details a little bit about the use of body cam footage or drones in as far as drunken driving is concerned. Is this going to help in as far as somebody who would be seen to be drunk, so to say, and when they are seen to be drunk, you have to prove that they are drunk in terms of the testing that are to be done through a breathalyzer and so forth. So is this really like a double bow for your system in as far as incarceration of those who will be caught in drunk driving?
Yeah, look, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to give you a legal answer, but I do think that it's important to note that at the moment, as the law stands, you need to have a blood alcohol content level of 0.05, technically 0.04999. And once you're over that, then you are over the limit. And the only way to determine that for a court of law is obviously through a blood test. And what we do know, Colin, is unfortunately the blood tests take very long to process through laboratories. So it's something that the AA has said on numerous occasions, that while you may have effective policing, the entire criminal value chain in terms of dealing with drunk driving is where the focus needs to be to improve that existing system. Lab results take too long to process and to get to the courts. And once they do get to the courts, there is too little prosecution of offenders. So we would like to see, obviously, more people being arrested for drunk driving in the sense that the legislation is there, let's implement it. But once those people are caught for drunk driving, the processing of the blood work needs to be more efficient and the prosecution needs to be improved as well, because that all leads to a fear of being caught, which we don't currently have in South Africa. So from our point of view, anything that is being used to make our roads safer is something we would welcome. But in terms of drone footage and body cams for drunk driving, the only thing that is going to count is that blood test I was speaking about, and that process needs to be made better.
So during this season, people are allowed to travel. To what extent will this affect the rate of accidents?
Yeah, I can't answer that question. I mean, I think that would be pure speculation on my side. I think what we would always say to people is drink or drive. And equally, we would say to people, drink or walk. Don't do both, because pedestrians comprise up to 40% of all fatalities on our roads. So we need to make sure that all road users, whether they are motorists or people on motorbikes or cycles, or pedestrians are focused on the road and they're not intoxicated when they're using the road. So it's very important from a road safety perspective that if people are going out and they are going to be making use of alcohol, that they adhere to the rules of the road and they don't drink. But again, Colin, that comes back to there is a need for effective policing to make sure that happens. There is a need for effective laboratory work to get the processing of the samples improved, and prosecutions need to be more efficient in terms of making the work of the laboratories and the traffic law enforcement officers meaningful. And unfortunately, at the moment in South Africa, that is not happening.
Right. Thank you so much for your time. Layton Beard is the spokesperson of the Automobile Association of South Africa, talking to us about the traffic this Easter weekend, as they'll be using drones and body cams. And of course, we'll be monitoring the situation, giving you regular traffic updates concerning some of the busiest roads in the country.